I couldn't believe she'd been on the show that long. It's like obviously like I, recognize the character, but like 21 years, my goodness.
Yeah. All right, folks. We are for those of you listening on the podcast feed, we are getting ready to go live on YouTube. So once the gremlins at YouTube get the ball rolling and get us up and running, we'll be able to go with our show. Once I get to share the link, get us up and running. And the link is up, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. I am Vinnie. This is Kim, and we are here for another jam-packed episode of Emmy Award-winning, two jam-packed episodes of Emmy Award-winning show, The Bay. We've got a lot going on, and it's going to be fantastic.
For sure. Yeah, these episodes, this set of episodes in particular, as usual, a lot going on, a lot to tackle, a lot to cover.
Yeah. We are going to be touching on the majority of all of episodes 9 and 10. We're getting close to the end of season 3. But
Mhm.
just, we're starting to see some of the similar patterns for some of the characters. And we're
Mhm.
starting to see just a lot of personality traits come out. There was just a lot of information jam-packed into these 2 episodes.
Definitely.
But before we do, let's get our announcements out of the way. I do want to let everybody know that, as always, if you are a wrestling fan, we are officially an affiliate of the WWE Shop, which is a Fanatics experience. So go to our new website, which is suds-media.com/wrestling merch. And that has our affiliate code in there, brings you right to WWE Shop, and we get a commission on whatever you buy. It helps out the show, helps out the podcasts. Also, we do have, like I said, a brand new website address. It is suds-media.com. And I'm in the middle of updating it all and, getting the links up for our merch, which is suds-media.com /merch. And as well as you'll see the pop-up, which is Suds SQ Circle. I'm sorry, Suds Square Circle .threadless.com is where our merch is. Go ahead and help us out, buy the merch, show that you support our show. I want to thank everybody for tuning into Suds News last night. Big news, it was one of our most watched episodes ever. We did talk about the breaking news that Kelly Monaco has been let go from General Hospital, as well as a number of different things. We also want to, I did not mention it on the podcast last night, and I probably should have, but we do want to express our sincere condolences to WWE legend Sid Udy, also known as Psycho Sid, also known as Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, whatever you will. Former WWE champion, former WrestleMania main eventer, passed away at the age of 63 yesterday, as announced by his son on Facebook. So our condolences, our love, our prayers go to his family, friends, and fans at this time. Also, programming note, we are going ahead and starting a brand new podcast. Angela and I are going to be teaming up starting in September for Take Me Down to Studio City, which is based upon, obviously, the web series Studio City, which was created by Sean and Melissa Kanan, Michelle Kanan, excuse me, his wife. And they both star in the show. That is going to be a fantastic show starting in September. And we're going to be doing a lot more with Patreon, which is patreon.com/Suds Squared Circle. So just stay tuned for all of that stuff that's coming down the pike for Suds Media. Okay. Let's get into it because there was a lot going on in these 2 episodes.
For sure. For sure. I mean, we kind of jump into things right away with we had the photo shoot kind of
Yes.
arc. We have going with Vivian and with Janice, and we have it where Janice is just, I mean, I think that this is like just the way that she is talking to Vivian. I mean, from the jump, you're just like, oh my goodness, like lay off the poor girl.
Well, I think that's just kind of based in reality in terms of what photo shoots actually are. You have the
Yeah.
you have the
Yeah.
person you have the person, not only the photographer, but the owner of the brand, the owner of the company, the person in charge of the advertisement, who has a specific vision in mind.
Hmm.
I like, I like how she said, "Who chose that dress? She looks like she's going to homecoming."
Yo, yeah, no, a
Yep.
quinceañera.
A
She was,
quinceanera.
yep, yep. And then you got like, poor Riley just standing there in the background trying to like diffuse the tension a little bit, saying, "Oh, you still look beautiful,"
Yeah,
all of this. But yeah, no, Janice is saying like it looks like she's in pain. You need to fix her hair, you need to
yeah.
relax. And then you got Vivian just looking up there like deer in the headlights, just totally, just not and it
I
was
mean, it's
just
her first modeling photo shoot, so I mean, you've
yeah.
got to think that she's got to be a little kind of nervous.
I mean, I was nervous when I got headshots taken by a professional photographer once. And that was very casual compared to like becoming the face of like a cosmetic line.
Right.
So, but yeah, just it opens with just Janice just in this like state of just you can tell she's like almost like on edge and panic too, because you can tell she had kind of taken a chance on Vivian with the whole, even though she had Tamara who had previous modeling experience, she decides to go with Vivian and now she's starting to, plus it's all amplified by things that we find out later on in the episode.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, and then we dive right into after that, we have it with
Oh, hey Nathan,
Colton.
welcome to the chat. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
Nathan.
Go on.
Yeah, no, we got Colton and we've got Will on the beat, the cops. And Colton is just, we're seeing some facets. You said we see like a lot of different kind of elements of certain characters
Yeah,
really come out to play in these episodes, and we see a lot of Colton. A lot,
we do. Yeah.
just a lot of shades of this guy and just what he's all about. And his like opening line when he's like, "You ever want to bust someone just for the sake of it?" It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you are
Like
just
he's
setting the
got
tone
some
right
big
there, bud.
soul problems.
Right? Like, I mean, and then you got Will who's just like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Like, I don't do my job that way. And then, you can tell he's still trying to like get on, Colton's level a little bit when he finds out.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, so you're with Tamara? That's why you want to like kind of go off the path and go and, so he's trying to like relate to him, but also you can tell by his demeanor, he's just like, what's up with this guy?"
Right. Exactly. So it's a lot coming, and we see a lot of Colton in these two episodes.
We do. We
Just
do.
a lot of his personality traits. I feel like what the Bay does, and I've kind of seen it over the past couple of years or
Hmm.
past couple of seasons, is that they'll get to a point where they're starting to develop a character's traits during one season.
Hmm.
Like we're seeing a lot of Colton this year, and then next year he's going to have a major storyline.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like with Daniel to a degree,
Yeah,
similar to that, where you kind of have this character that's brought in and you feel like he's kind of more just like comedic relief and he's a member of the family, yada yada. And now we see him in all his glory and this is like really like his kind of transformative arc as a character, what we're seeing play out
exactly.
now. So it's like, yeah, they lay the groundwork for these guys. It's not like they're just bringing them out of the like left field and being like,
Right.
here, we're just going to dump a bunch of backstory on you. Here, we're just going to insert these guys in wherever. It's like they draw them in gradually. You catch enough to catch viewers' interest, and then
Yep.
they decide to really develop them out. And I think that by them being in like the streaming capacity, versus like filming a show every single day, they
Yeah.
have the capability to do that. It's
Oh,
like, okay,
absolutely.
we lay the groundwork for this guy this season. Next season, we get to develop him and play with him. So,
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot. We're seeing that a lot with both Colton and Daniel this year. And
mhm.
Daniel is um just beside himself. Like
Oh,
Avery sees, I felt bad for him, because Avery
mhm.
the text message on his phone from
Yep. And
you.
she's not even looking for anything intentionally, but his phone happens to go off. She happens to see the app, and it's just all, but, for his reaction to her and the way that he explodes at Matthew, it's
Yeah.
just devastating scenes and so well acted.
Oh,
So well done.
like you can tell if you didn't know any better, it was literally like someone who just was so afraid of admitting that he's gay
Hmm.
that, for whatever reason it is, he's just so much in denial,
Yeah.
whether it's the fact of he's a Garrett or whether it's just, you know, just social torment or whatever the case may be. he's just so afraid to admit that he's attracted to guys.
Yeah, no, and it's just when he calls, his speaking with Matthew is just really just, you're supposed to cover for me. I felt safe with you. I thought that I could trust you. You're just a liar. I think that line about like saying he felt safe enough to actually like kind of let his guard down and then just feeling like that's all ripped away from him now as a result. And it's not even, that was just like the gut punch for me. His that line, his
Yeah,
saying that, and then his just it was just such a devastating scene. But oof, yeah, they really, he's gone from just like the funny guy with the dog, who's like,
yep,
just kind of being a lovable loser, to
yeah,
really, being just struggling and everything. But such well acted scenes.
yeah. Very, very well acted scenes. But it's amazing to me that, you know, first of all, I have to give props to Avery just to be
Oh
like,
yeah.
she's very supportive. Like she sees it,
Oh yeah. No,
and
and
she,
she flat out says, I don't, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just want him to
yeah.
be happy, you know? And but he can't even, Daniel's in such a place where he can't even acknowledge that, can't even accept that. He's just, he's because it's not something he's ready to, let his guard down about and speak out about or anything. He just can't even own it himself. So
And the way that she left the room, and just saying I love you, just really
yeah.
from my heart out. It's like, she
Yeah.
kind of say, I'm here, I support you regardless of what you're feeling or whatever. You can come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, never look at my phone, don't ever look at my phone. And you
Yeah.
know, yeah, I felt bad for Avery.
Yeah, and then even but Matthew's scenes with Avery too at the hospital, when, just him saying like he needs your support,
Yep,
he just needs, because like she's trying to get information, but he's kind of guarded, kind of hesitant, but then he's just like, just support him, just be there for him. And
yep,
yeah, just such good scenes there. But it was just like one facet of it's like, there's like that also have the court storyline. You also have the
yep.
Janice story. There was a lot playing out all at once in these two
There
episodes.
really was. Yeah. As we go forward in episode 9, because we're going over, for those of you who don't know, we are going over episodes 9 and 10
Hmm.
in season 3 in today's episode. Uh, and obviously, the majority of the shows are about the court scene, the court case.
Hmm.
So we do
Hmm.
see that, Attorney Tobin calls up Nardo Ramos,
Yes.
in the court case.
Yes.
And he kind of confirms what his notes said, and he said that the way that everything looked showed the evidence or the assumption being that a male was the person that did it.
Hmm. Yep. He basically says that, his working theory, because, he did a thorough investigation, back when the case was initially, 1986, whenever it was.
Yep,
And, the size of the victim, the severity of the injuries. And then you got Evan, who's like countering that with like, what about hysterical strength when a mom can lift a car off of a kid? And,
yep,
but they shut that down, prosecutions like a few, like though, it's like the rabbit out of their hat, though, really is Joe,
yes,
knowing what they have on, that they managed to expose that, she was perjuring herself. And with that, that's just a satisfying scene. It's like when you watch an episode of Law and Order and you just see the lawyer just like nail the person. It's just like, yes, yes.
yeah,
It's just like I appreciated that. Just general kind of like, I'm a Law and Order fan, so
yeah. No, you're exactly right.
yeah, no, it's just a satisfying kind of moment. And then, even with Joe, I mean, because they bring her back into court and she basically has to like, the way that they just kind of, Tobin's argument or what he's basically like, he's unraveling her entire story right in front of everybody. Have you
Yeah,
ever been to Ireland? Oh, it's beautiful there, and your father went all over the globe. You must be proud. Well, take a look at this picture because you were there and you could not have been in the United States,
yep,
get killed. And, the look on her face though, like she really gets a chance to just kind of shine, even in the previous episode when like, she's just trying to like fix herself a drink or whatever, and then she gets
yeah,
summoned and then she turns, sends the guy away and she just starts like hyperventilating because she knows like, she's done for at this point.
And that's such a switch for the character. Like we never really, up until now, saw her really vulnerable or any chips in the armor.
No, not until like this and the previous episode
Yeah,
set, when she finally realizes that like, saddling up with Steve was probably the worst thing that she could have done.
yeah, exactly. And it caused her, and she basically said it was that she perjured herself in, in court under oath, for him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's like it really is, obviously they have like a business arrangement where like, they're expecting things to be kind of
Yeah,
lucrative for them and being able to go after. But like you'd kind of think that if you're going to go up there and just like, that she had some sort of resentment against Sarah too. And as far as I know, she doesn't. But it's not
right.
as if she's like Liza or somebody with like an axe to grind who'd be willing,
Yeah,
like a personal thing. It's really all just about like, her, getting some, like, fame, fortune, money, even though she seems to
yeah,
have it, just like, and that power
yeah,
versus, her going in for personal reasons just to target Sarah. But then you also have on the other side of the coin, you have Mickey, who's
yeah,
involved in this kind of personally and is like defensive of like, like saying like, oh, Sarah could have never done this and all of this stuff. And you see
yeah.
her loyalty towards her. And then we get that twist at the end with Mickey too, which
Saying
is
that she
just,
was on the pier that night
mm-hmm.
and witnessed the whole thing. So
Yep.
it's, but it's like the way that what I really what I really liked about the episode at the end of episode 10 was seeing Orchid in there
Me too. That was
checking
such
up
a
on me,
good use.
and
The
saying,
way that they blend Orchid in lately is just, I love the way that they go about doing that because they're showing different sides to her character too. And it's
yeah,
clear that she and like, you just find out through a few simple lines of dialogue, like, she goes in there all the time for tuna melts and she and Mickey
yeah,
are close. And it's nice seeing that, that side of the character and that like level of like just sweetness there and all of that. And Mickey talking about Kenneth and
yeah,
how the senator died on, just the way that they just kind of let all of that story shake out and having Orchid be there just because they have a bond. And it was
right,
so cute too with the pie.
yeah,
Like, she was saying like, her son would come in for peach pie and then she's like, I'm gonna go get you some pie, Orchid. It was just it's like, oh,
on the
that's so
house.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
But then Orchid ends up leaving because who walks in but John
Yep. Yep.
Blackwell.
She sees John Blackwell and just, nope, I'm out. Just isn't
Yep.
going to put up with that anymore. And then we kind of have even John Blackwell here. He's kind of like, considering his like, gunning for the Garrets, can't stand him. He's very subdued when he's talking about just like the whole, it's most like what not this is Bay City, justice isn't always served, Garrett killing the way he's just describing like the court case and everything like that.
Yeah.
He just kind of doesn't seem to have that same level of just like I want to see Shara, go down and the
But
Garretts go down.
even with this scene with Jack earlier in the episode, where they kind of meet in the hall of the courthouse,
Hmm.
and it's just a very and you'll have to forgive me, I forgot the exact dialogue, but it looked like it was just like John was checking in on him.
Yeah, no, I got that vibe too. Just very, just sort of. It wasn't like he was there like gloating. It wasn't like he's there in the background, just like
Yeah,
like, ooh, I can't wait to see how this is. No, he's just kind of like there to just sort of see what's going on and check in on the situation. It's like he's not as intense as
right.
he normally is when it comes to the Garretts, and it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that other facet of the character.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's
I guess
really
he figures because his son is in there, just playing hardball. So someone has to be
right.
there can't be two crazy, intense Blackwell gentlemen in the courthouse at the same time. That would just be chaos. So
Yeah, especially because Evan is kind of going off the deep end.
a little bit, because you can tell that like I mean, if the whole man, being responsible for the murder, that already kind of shook him up. But then
Right,
with the whole exposure of Joe, he's realizing like he's watching his case just fall apart before his eyes. And Brandon Beamer does such a good job of playing that, just like seeing that like things like, things are not going well.
right. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's because the way he questions Nardo about, well, this mystery man who might have been in your you know, this what you call it, um, this mystery man who you say was the one that pushed Senator Garrett under the water. Maybe he didn't exist at all.
Yeah, just trying to like, cast anything he can out there just to make it seem like, that situation's not gonna, it's not possible. But yeah, no, he's just, you can just kind of see it on the character. He's just like, he's realizing quickly, like, this isn't going to go that well. But then, you also have it where Sara is still determined to get up there and testify again and like, speak on her own behalf and, prove her innocence.
Yep.
And everyone is basically telling her like, everything that we've gotten so far, it's good, it's going in our favor, but you still should not get up there and do this. And Sara's just like, no, I'm the only one who can get up there and tell my story and convince the jury. I mean, she is determined.
Yes, she is. She is.
Because that, like, of course we have to have a scene where Sara is up there explaining. I mean, come on, this is like, let
Of
Mary
course.
Beth Evans get up there and shine. So
Yeah.
you know that's coming. But just even like Lex, just in the background, just like his disapproving face, just being like, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't. It's not a slam dunk yet, and but no, she's not. And you even have like Pete trying to like weigh in on the whole situation too,
Yep.
but she's not being swayed.
Exactly. And then there was a weird scene between Pete and Adam in the bathroom.
Yes, the urinal scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind
Like
of.
Adam asked,
Adam is, they're just like making Adam. Every time we see this character, I feel like we get a new facet of his kind of weirdness.
yes, we do. It's just like it's like a creepiness
Yes.
point where um he asks Pete what it was like growing up, with the Garretts and with the family, and Pete's like, well, just like any other family, and
Right. It's just
not
awkward
not
to watch. And you feel like, if I was Pete, I'd just be like, dude, like, just leave me the frick alone. Like, what do
yeah,
you, like, it's just, yeah, like, he's all like, like, I'd kill to be in your shoes. And then, Pete's just kind of like, well, the grass is always greener, and just kind of dismisses him and walks out of the bathroom. But it's just like, yeah, it's just every time he's around him, it's like, annoying little brother, but add like creepy aspect
yeah.
to it.
And Mystery Brother too.
Mystery brother too. Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
the
He's just an unsettling character, every time.
very,
Yeah, and he's so good at playing. Like the acting is just because you just weird tension every time that he's around Pete, and it's
yep,
just like you almost want Pete to just realize and figure out like, hey, this guy's just brother, because it's like just like that lead up to it. It's almost like it's not annoying to watch, but it's just like I wish the Pete just knew already.
yeah, no, yes, I agree. Let's see, what else do we have going on? We had,
Well, we had Viv kind of transform, speaking of,
yeah,
because Pete calls her, and she's kind of saying that like she doesn't really say that like it's not going well, but she's like, she's kind of needs a little bit of just like, not a pep talk from him. But then
right,
she does kind of say like, well, I've got something up my sleeve to make sure that the rest of the day goes well.
yeah,
And then we realize like, yeah, okay, she's all along she has not been giving it her all,
yep,
but now she's going to. And
yep.
that to me was a little bit odd. It's like, it was kind of like all of a sudden I can just turn it on and everything's going to be perfect. It's like, I don't know. It just felt a little
I think
like
what
why she
happened,
kind of was she trying to play Janice? Was she trying to make, or
right,
like, just kind of like make it seem like she didn't know what she was doing, and then all of a sudden just be like, oh no, I actually do. I was
yeah,
a
I think
little
that's what it
confused as to
was.
why she didn't just own it from the get go,
I
you
think
know?
that's what it was. I think she wanted to play it out first, kind of see where I think she wanted to see where Janice's motives were, to see if there were any ulterior motives.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Because
could be.
the way I looked at it was during that second set of pictures, when she got
Right. The
everything.
black dress on and
Yeah,
everything, and
she
it just, yeah.
she glances at Janice, and you could see them make eye contact, where it's
Hmm.
almost like Janice kind of understands that she's kind of putting on the show now for her, as
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, you got me, you know,
Yeah.
because Janice kind of rolls her eyes and
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's just kind of funny though, because it's like at the beginning, she seems like she's just so just like, and you wonder like how much of that was an act, how much of that was
Yep.
her actually being nervous, and then how much of it was just like, well, I just want to kind of see how far I can let this go before I really just show that, yeah, I can do this. And I'm going to own this woman basically by like, go, just giving it my all. And because, I mean, my God, I mean,
Clearly,
she
it was
looks
night
amazing.
and day.
Yeah. Well, complete, transformation, 180,
Um,
so,
what
but that
was
was kind of cool, just like seeing her, seeing Janice just a little bit. But then, we have also, we get that whole reveal with her, with what's
oh,
driving her moods,
yeah.
and then we see it all catch up to her at a later point with Will and with Liana too. Oh, Liana, we also have that aspect as well.
Well, yeah,
Just
because we see Liana kind of have a change of heart. I was going to bring that up.
yes,
Another transformation to the
for
point
sure.
where, Liana goes to Steve's attorney's, motel room, and
Hmm.
getting paid to get laid, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah. But you can tell immediately
added
as
to
soon
it.
as, even though she's been with this guy before, obviously,
Yeah.
they have a pre-existing relationship, she is just not, I mean, the look on her face says it all. It only takes 2 seconds and you can see that she is just not about this. And
Yeah.
then when she openly tells this guy, like, take your money back, I'll give you extra, I don't care, I just need to get out of here. And he gets hostile with her,
Hmm.
it's just like, I loved how, when those she's she gets away from this guy, she's outside of the motel, and then she gets a call from Steve or calls him and basically
Yeah.
says like, I'm leaving, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then he gets all like, well, what are you talking about? You can't, that's my lawyer. We need to make him happy. Well, then you go and you sleep with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Or,
That
what she said.
that was fantastic. I liked that dialogue there
I did too. I did too.
because like she really told him to stick it. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
No,
want to do this anymore.
that's like almost like the most assertive that we've seen her around him, like
Yeah.
ever, I think, which is like, yay, you go, girl.
Yes.
Like put him in his place. But then we have her, her vulnerability with Janice, which just those were such good.
Well,
The
before
two
that,
of
she goes
them.
to Will. She
Oh
goes
yes,
goes to
yes,
meet up with Will and
yes.
Colin,
That's
and
true. Yeah, I overlooked
and
that. And that was a great scene too, just
it
even
really
with
was.
Will, seeing that level of support that he's got for her and seeing like, because relationship, it was kind of hard to like dial in on at first, but knowing that like, he has her back and is in her corner, it was just super like, especially once he kicks, like they send Colton packing, because you can tell
Yeah.
like Colton just wants to kind of like stand there and get the dirt and be all just like, and then Will's just like, just give us a minute here, bud. Like,
Yeah. But she says, "I want a job. I want a real job," and
mm-hmm.
Will just takes her in his arms.
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
just that win for her. Like somebody
right.
really cares about her.
Yeah. It was just so like refreshing and nice and sweet to see. And it just makes you appreciate their relationship. Because, like, like I said, like it was kind of hard to dial in on what exactly they were to each other.
Yeah.
But now that it's established that, like, he's got her back and he's going to help her, it makes for some very sweet scenes with the two of them.
Yeah.
And I thought, on the same token, I mean, like all the Janice and Liana scenes have always been like, another level. I love their chemistry as like mother and daughter, whether it's like they're fighting, whether it's they're, making up, and I just thought these scenes were really great between the two of them. And like, she's just, you see Liana just so vulnerable and so sad, and Janice just trying to be there, but also like going through her own battles at the same, there's just so much going on and so much
Yeah.
weight.
Exactly. And it does. It kind of we've known for a while that Janice was taking pills,
Hmm.
and now she's mixing alcohol. And, it just came to light. Not even came to light, really. It almost did, because Liana almost walked in and sat down while she still had her
Hmm. Right. Right.
pill
No,
bottle.
and yeah, she was trying to kind of, be and even when she like, go to the bathroom, just do it for you. Like, you're not embarrassing me. That was a heartbreaker of a line too. When Janice or Leona was like, I'm embarrassing you. I'm so sorry. Like she looked like a little kid. She just
Yeah.
looked like so freaked out and upset at that. And then Janet, she was like, no, honey, it's for you. Go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, get yourself together. It's okay. But then she uses that as an opportunity for her to like, just kind of,
Pop another pill.
yeah. which is just, and
And
then
then
that all,
calls
oh, go
Riley
ahead.
to get the contracts of
Yes. Mm-hmm.
the new talent. She tells her, "Oh, it's on my desk. They're not there."
Mm-hmm.
She has to look through her drawers, and what does she find? She
Goes into the desk, finds the
oh
pill bottles. Yep. And then you got Riley, to her credit, that's like trying to hide the fact that she's just seen this like, crazy, thing that's, her boss is up to, just trying to be like, oh, contracts are right here, right where you said they were,
yeah,
you know. But and then you have Janice though, like, she gets pulled, she driving and but clearly intoxicated in
yeah,
and out and gets stopped by Will. And she's trying, all this car's in the shop, or my car's in the shop. I'm driving one. I'm not used to this car. And then, like, take the sunglasses off, all of that. But I love how, like, she immediately goes from, like, denying it to just being like, well, so what? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to take me in? And then Will's just like, in sweetheart mode, no, I'm going to take you home. And then he
yeah.
even, like, has to, like, walk her over to the car and make sure she's going in the right direction. It's just, oof, what a gut punch.
Oh, absolutely. When you see somebody who's, because I mean, in reality, Janice is a very powerful woman. She's the CEO of a cosmetics company.
Hmm.
She finally, even though it was too late, figured out that she wanted to be with Pete, even though it was too late.
Yeah.
But she's a very powerful woman, and to see her that vulnerable,
Right.
because theoretically, when she got raped, she lost that power. She lost that confidence.
Yes.
Lost,
Absolutely.
it was such a hit. And granted, sexual assault is no joke, but it's just, it could happen to anybody.
And her trying to block it out and mask it and hide the pain and hide the, everything, the grief that she's experiencing as a result,
Yep.
with the pills and the wine and everything like that. I mean, now it's all starting to catch up to her, and she's just, but she's almost at a point where she's just like, she can't even the relationship with John Blackwell. She can't like that whole thing is kind of beside, she can't have that in the mix because she feels like there's too much going on, and she just rather like,
Yeah.
hide behind the pills and hide behind this rather than, open up about everything she's been through. And now she's paying for it. Now, like, she's getting pulled over, and it's just, it's such a devastating just descent for the character, seeing her go through all of this and just knowing, comes down the road and everything like that too. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough to watch for sure. But such well acted scenes though. I mean, she plays drunk very, very well.
Yes. Yes, she does. But the entire thing with her is just
Yeah.
I like how the character see here's the one thing that I really like about the Bay. There's nobody that's all good and all bad. Everybody has that shade of
Oh yeah.
gray. Everybody has
Absolutely.
the pros and
There's
cons.
no straight up hero. There's no villain. Everyone's
I
got, except maybe Steve. Maybe Steve is the only one that I like. We really haven't
yeah,
seen like a facet of him that makes him like, or what's his name? Chase. Chase was another one that
yeah,
just, straight up villain with no. I mean, but we understand at least why he kind
yeah.
of. We understand. With
But
Steve, it's like Steve's just a scumbag. I
on
don't
the
know.
flip side, the only one that I would probably say is all in the good is Zoe. I don't think we've
Yeah,
seen anything negative about Zoe.
yeah, and Viv too. I don't think we've seen anything. Yeah, so we do have like the heroines, but they even they like they're not perfect,
Right.
and they aren't like they're not just like damsels in distress who need to, like saving or anything like that. They're very strong, dynamic, layered. All the characters have layers. All the characters have depth. You know, there isn't
Yeah.
anyone that's just kind of like a shell or a just like a trope, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Well, somebody who is getting to the point of being complete villain is Colton. And we can
Yeah, he is definitely on that track, and you can just see, I mean, it's like red flag alert. Every single time they bring this character out, it's like another red flag pops up. I mean, you've got it where, he goes and he's like, jumping off duty when he's a cop to go and like have a quickie with his girlfriend or whatever, which
yeah,
I loved how Will goes upstairs, because obviously they have to go and like go on a case and report someplace, and the door is open and he just
yeah,
sees them unfold and he's like, are you kidding me right now, like shit, and just like walks away. Like the actor's reaction, and that was classic.
yeah,
But yeah, but then you have it where like Colton is even like, well, I was going to take you to lunch, and then they show him and Tamara at lunch, And I'm sorry, anyone who was like, I'm not like a wine aficionado by any stretch.
Right.
Kind of appreciate if someone is like, oh yeah, we'll do a bottle of this, but like his being like, I know exactly what you like, and ordering for her,
Yep.
it's just like, oh, I'm sorry,
Red
no,
flag after
you're not
red
going to order
flag.
my food for me. I can
But
order my
what
own
I
food.
like, but what I like is that Tamara is actually kind of standing up for against it to the point of, well, that was mean. You didn't have to be so mean about it.
Right. And also being mean to wait staff. I'm sorry. That's an
Yeah.
instant disqualifier. If I was on a date and someone was like being rude or hostile to someone who was like, working to serve me dinner, I'd be like, excuse me, like, check, please. I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, but he starts kind of, even when she says, you didn't have to be so mean. And he starts, like, it's almost, I think the term for it is love bombing, where he kind of just basically says like, I can't let you drink that garbage, it's too valuable, I'm going to treat you like the woman that you are. It's like he's
Yeah.
pouring on all this like love and attention and
Gaslighting
affection and
her.
stuff like that. And that's just another huge, right, because you got Tamara who's like kind of charmed by that to a degree, and it's just
Yeah,
like, oh no,
she's
oh
one of those
no.
women who was attracted to the bad boys, which is
Mm-hmm.
why she was blind. She wanted to be blind to Chase, even though we
Yes.
we assumed that he was abusing her.
Yeah.
So now she's in a situation where she's not being physically assaulted, but she's at every corner she's getting mentally and emotionally abused.
Yep, she's being controlled by this guy. He's
Yep.
just, and he's just, taking advantage of her vulnerability and the fact that like, she just kind of, you know, he's being like a strong, assertive presence. And, sometimes that's intoxicating to see. And sometimes it's controlling and it's just too much. And he's definitely too much. And his big, and it's just so weird to me though, because it's like seeing Christopher Sean playing such a, guy that's like buggy. It's like, it's weird because I'm so used to seeing him playing like sweet Paul on Days of Our
Right.
Lives. So seeing him in this role, it was just like, and it's funny because like when I watched The Bay previously, he hadn't been on Days, or I hadn't really seen his character too much on that show yet. And now
Yeah.
that I have seen him, it's just like, oh, it's tough to watch because you're such a sweetie, you're a complex son. Like, so now seeing him in this role, but kudos to the actor because it's just like, yeah, he plays a controlling SOB, and you want to like give Tamara a hug, but also be like, honey, come on, just
Yeah.
smack, just sense a door, get her out of that situation because, yeah, it's just escalating. Every time we see this character, there's a new facet that we just don't really like.
Yeah. Exactly. I think let's see. Is there anything else that happened? I think we kind of covered.
I mean, we did touch on the fact that, we talked about the Mickey twist and how she says like, calls Tobin at the very end, and that was our cliffhanger, which,
Yep.
hello, great, great cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Um, we have it where, we touched on Daniel and his meltdown, and Janice and the end of her kind of, arc there with, her and Will and everything like that. And yeah, I think we touched on everything. It was nice seeing no Nardo Ramos though too, because I
Yes.
know that he becomes like a big player down the road. But
Yeah.
seeing A Martinez, he's such a good. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
cool seeing him back in the fold on this show again.
Yep.
And we discussed the Adam situation, and yeah, I think we did touch on everything. I mean, a lot going on, but I think we covered it all.
Covered everything in the actual show. There is a lot going on, but it was just like three different stories that were playing.
Yep, yep, for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of, like you said, character development and characters just kind of unfolding, and us being able to see different facets and different sides and transformations, as it were, and everything like that, which just, makes for compelling. I think the one was only like, what, 20 minutes? It
Yeah.
wasn't even like
Something like
25 minutes. It
that.
was just like, okay, cool.
Very quick.
Let's,
Very quick, as
oh,
always.
so quick, so quick.
Um, just a quick programming note for everybody. On Tuesday, September 10th, we will not be here. No shows that week. It's my son's birthday week, so we're going away at the end of the week. But because of that, I have to work Tuesday. So no Suds news the night before. and no Dockside of the Bay that Tuesday night. So
Well, I'll be recuperating from my sister's wedding that night
yeah,
as
so I
well.
mean, it kind
So
of works out for the both of
it
us that
does. It
record.
does.
We don't have a show
Yeah.
that week, but we'll be back afterwards. But we are going to be back next week as well because next week is still only September 3rd,
Yes.
I believe. So, yeah, so we will be back next week going over um, episodes 11 and 12.
I'm wondering if those are the last two of the season or if it's
Hey,
13 or 4. I
well,
can't remember exactly.
let me
But
check.
yeah, we're winding down for sure.
We
I know.
definitely are. Let's see. I will check on the cock now. And yes, it's Peacock for those of you who are
Mhm.
censored or triggered by YouTube. Um, it's no, 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 no. Come on. No, I don't want to see next on the day. Oh, come on. I'm trying to work this iPad that I have.
Mm.
So season 3, we've got 11, 12, 13, and 14. So
Okay.
we still have, two more,
Yep. Two more sets. But gosh, we're powering through. We're getting through at a quick clip.
we really are.
So
So pretty soon it'll be exhausted on Peacock. And
yeah.
have to move over to either Tubi or Popstar or wherever else.
Yeah. I've been using Tubi actually.
Okay, I use
Yeah.
that, but yeah,
I
uh,
when I watched it originally, I know I was watching it through, I believe, Amazon. And then
yeah,
yeah, but I don't know. Tubi, it's got a nice little app. I just use it. I'll watch it on my phone.
yes.
But
Uh,
yeah, no, good set of episodes for sure, and I'm looking forward to diving into next week's.
I
Because
definitely am too.
I remember certain details, but I don't remember certain details, and it's
I'm
always fun to
actually
just
getting
kind
to
of
the point now where
jump in.
it'll be first run shows for me. Like I watched
Oh,
it until this point, and then I started over because we started the podcast. So now
hmm.
I'm actually going through and watching them for the first time.
You're watching in real time. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Well, that'll add a little bit, you first time viewing for some of these. That'll be cool. That'll be cool to kind of
exactly.
explore in future episodes. So,
Yeah,
looking forward.
exactly. But it looks like we are out of time for tonight. Um,
Yeah,
any final thoughts on these two episodes? I want to see where they're going with Colin because
yeah,
when he comes in, we first meet him as a correctional officer, then he transfers to become a cop,
hmm,
and now we're starting to see him, which we thought it was endearing, the fact that he was so hard on his younger brother to kind of steer him in
right,
the direction. But
right.
now we see him just like being completely controlling and just like
Yeah.
a
We're seeing the scary side and it's not good. It's not
yeah,
good. And it's just that with that character, I mean, they really do find a way to just kind of, elevate him from because when we saw him previously, he was just kind of it's like how we said before, they introduce these characters in such a way that kind of draws you to them, and then they really kind of kick in their arc into a higher gear in the following season. And now we're seeing an arc for him. This guy that we just thought was a well, Bay City, prison guard, and we weren't really going to see him again. Now,
exactly.
he's becoming like a central character, and yeah, just the way that they've gone about it, it's a disturbing, arc for the character, but it's compelling nonetheless.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching on
Yes.
YouTube, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, get notified, leave a comment, react to comments as well, react to the chat room as well, because
Yeah.
all of that helps with the algorithms.
Chat with us about the show.
Yeah. If you are listening on the podcast feed, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Go ahead and visit our new website. Well, it's the same website, only a new address. Suds-media.com. It's a little shorter, easier to remember, easier to type. And again, we are an official affiliate of WWE Shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go ahead and go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and that does go ahead and um, give us a commission that has our affiliate link in the code, and whatever you buy from there using that code, we earn commission on, and it helps the show, helps podcast, helps us get to more places.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and by the way, I do want to announce, I do want to let you know for those of you who are on, listen, for those of you who know about James Law Jr. and his audio dramas, there is currently one that's being dropped, I believe, every Tuesday and Friday, that both Kim and I had a part in.
Yes.
And that is the not the 10th floor, it's the last floor. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah. No,
It's called the
definitely. It was
last
a lot of
floor.
fun to be involved with that.
And there's many more coming through. Um, that that are being recorded now that have just been recorded. I heard that Kim has a good scream. Uh,
Actually, no, I was unable to capture that because when we were going through it wouldn't have been appropriate given where I'm currently residing to let out
that's
a.
right. I did hear about that. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
no, there was a lot. It's a lot of fun working on those things, and yeah, it came together. It's coming together really, really nicely, and yeah, definitely give it a listen. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. So check those out. As always, check out Suds News every Monday night, 10 p.m. right here on YouTube. Stay tuned for next week's Dockside at the Bay, 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. We're also going to be having Take Me Down to Studio City starting up within the next couple weeks, as well as Angela Answers Fan Mail, where Angela and I go off on all the trolls and haters on Twix. And that's going to be half on YouTube and half on Patreon. So if you want to hear the real dirt, got to sign up for Patreon. Call the hotline, if you will. All right, so we are out of time. For Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week, Dockside at the Bay.
Take care.